Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. How are you doing today? Have the lovely Laura Morby with us. How you doing, Laura?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So as we said at the end of episode number 2, you and I are going to do our best to just guess what we see coming in 2022. These are pure guesses. Don't hold us to them, but we're going to look at our cracked and fuzzy crystal balls and guess what's going on. You're going to focus on Phoenix. I will focus on Fresno, California, which are the markets we both look at the most.
hmm
So we'll take the national landscape off because that would just get really confusing. But why don't we talk about what you see, a couple of things you see coming in Phoenix area or Scottsdale or whatever your tightest focus is next year.
To be honest, I don't see people stopping moving here. I kind of thought once summer hit that people would be like, never mind, I'm out of here.
It's 118 degrees. What am I doing here?
That is a whole other conspiracy theory that I swear that Arizona lies on their weather channel because it is always, you have an outdoor thermometer. It's always in the 120s, almost 130, always.
Always.
Like, almost every day. And then people are like, we hit a record day. It was 122. And I'm like, it's 122 like every day.
Yeah. What thermometer are you looking at?
I know. So I thought that people would be gone, but it's not happening. More people are continuing to come. I feel like unless something crazy happens that maybe is outside of housing, like something having to do with like our dollar or crypto or something coming and trickling down into our housing market.
Okay.
I just don't think that there's like enough time maybe a reason why this is happening right now is because home builders weren't building as much at their rate historically that they used to. And so now we're behind.
Yeah.
But like builders are still only human. They can only build so much. Building a community takes years of planning and zoning and meetings. And, I just don't see there being a correction in enough time for next year. But then like interest rates play into this too, like people's purchasing power with the rate of price increase, we are pricing people out of the market already.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too. And then people getting frustrated and being like, it's dang impossible to buy a house right now. I'm done, and then, so in that case, they're leaving, and then that, less buyers. And then you have people who are actually buying houses and it's not as crazy. And you don't have 40 offers for one house, you have 2. It creates a different situation where prices aren't going as crazy. So I feel like hopefully it will level out. But then at the same time, I think I've contradicted myself about 15 times in the last 2 minutes. But it's like there's so much up in the air that is just so strange,
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things going on, and I don't know Phoenix at all. But again, I think you brought up the right things to think about, right? And there's really 3 variables to consider. One is the demand equation, right? What you really said there is Phoenix is going to continue to be a hot market, right? People are going to continue to leave California. The snowbirds from the north are going to, we just all know they pick Phoenix or Arizona a lot. It's one of the hotter markets. So I think demand stays up. I think the wrinkle, again, what I'm predicting in my market and really for the nation is I think inventory is going to surprise to the upside.
Okay.
I think there's been a lot of inventory that's been held back for lots of reasons. And I think that's going to start to unlock. I think June, July, August, and we'll see, right? It's right around the corner now. But I think there's a lot of people, maybe this is California specific because we were on lockdown to the 15th of June. I think there's a lot of people like, okay, I'm done. My house is too old. My house is too small. I make more money than I did 10 years ago. I want a nicer place. I think there's a lot of move up buyers that didn't do that last year.
Okay.
And the move up buyer is good for the market because there's 2 transactions, right? There's a listing and a purchase. What I think we saw a lot of the last year was first time buyers or second home buyers. And what that means is there's just demand, no supply. I bought a second home in Lake Tahoe, or I bought a second home in Vegas, or wherever it is. What I think we've really been missing is the 2 transaction household, sell, buy. I think that unlocks this year. We're already seeing demand supply increase again in my market, in my little search, my buy box slightly, still not where it used to be, right? In my buy box, like in 19, there might've been 50 or 60 homes. Today there's like 20, and 2 months ago there was 8, right? So it's not like it's back to normal, but it's doubled where it was.
Yeah.
I do think there's buyer fatigue, certainly in California.
Mhm.
There's, people are going, I'm done. I'll come back to this later. Pricing affordability is a
Mhm.
problem. To me, I think it is interest. It's all of this stuff that has to work together. You're so right. There's all these things going on in my head.
Mhm.
I just today on the daily financial news talked about 4%.
Mhm.
4% is a very interesting number in the mortgage market today.
Mhm.
According to Black Knight, if we get to 4%,
Mhm.
nationally speaking, we are really going to hit affordability levels that wipes out a lot of buyers.
Yeah.
Right. All right. There's a lot more people that get a yes answer at 3% that would get a no answer at 4%.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think what we're going to see is a slowdown. I think this, 15 or 20% appreciation we've seen the last year is going to moderate significantly. It'll probably still be a plus, but it'll be like +4, +5%. So the biggest thing I'm calling for 2022 is price appreciation. I think we're going to be on a plateau for a while.
Mhm.
I think if interest rates ever got to 5%, we could see a slowdown. Because the other thing I think, Laura, I want to run this by you because we've been in the game a long time, is I think there's a lot of people that have refinanced or purchased with a 30-year mortgage below 3%.
Oh yeah, so many.
Right. So play this out with me, right? So you're in that house, you've been in the house 8 years from now, it's 2026 or 28 or whatever it is. You have a 2.5% mortgage, you're looking to upgrade.
Mhm.
You go look at that next house, it's 100 grand more than what you're in today, right? So it's a
Mhm.
normal upgrade. However, 8 years from now or 6 years from now, the interest rate's 4.5.
Yeah.
Think about what that payment shock's going to be, right? You
Oh
go
yeah.
from a 2.5% mortgage on, I don't know, 200 grand, and you're going to go to a 4.5% mortgage on 300 grand. That
Yeah.
payment delta is going to be massive,
Right.
right? So I think we might see a lot of people locked into their houses because the last 20 years rates have been generally going down.
Yeah.
For the next 10, rates could go like this. We may see a surprise amount of people not move, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, people surprise me all the time where I'm just like, you're doing
You
this
did
now?
what? Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times it's like personal things kind of like take over
Yeah.
a smart financial thing, because especially when you're talking retail and like what retail people are going to do, a lot of this move stuff is emotional. It's we had
That's a
another
good point.
baby, we're getting married, and I remember selling like 6.5% home equity loans and stuff at Wells Fargo and being like, this is crazy,
Why are you doing
it's
this?
so low.
Yeah.
And now I think we just gotten spoiled by this like sub 3.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, that's crazy. It was just such cheap money, like if you got if you got a loan with that, good for you, but like I think a lot of people do realize that it was never going to
It
last.
can't, right? The Fed's got to
So
get out of the way. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to think about like what's happening, in our country outside of just real estate,
Mhm.
and thinking of how that can affect our housing market and it's just interesting too to think about. There's just so much that can go into this that it's just, I don't know, I guess maybe the message for everyone is just be ready for anything.
Yeah, I think that's wise advice. I think we've never restarted our economy before, right? The big thing I learned about this is shutting down economy is a lot easier than opening one up.
Yeah.
Right. As it's been going, we've seen lots of supply chain. I mean, you and I are in the real estate industry. Just think about all the lumber prices, artificially low rates that probably naturally above 4, but now they went under 3. I think next year is going to be a more normal year, but I think we're going to be shocked at the different fits and starts and things that open up. Wage inflation. It's going to be an interesting year. So prepare and be ready.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've always learned is that the people who are the most successful consistently are the people who are chameleons. So what does that mean? Never expect that things are always going to be this way. They're not. If you're making really good money flipping houses right now, in a couple of months,
Yeah,
you might start seeing them just sit there, and these prices that you were thinking you could hit, maybe you're not getting, and you're getting 2 offers instead of 40, what you were planning on. So always expect change, always be okay to learn new things, always be okay to pivot. and get into something else, those are the most successful people, or people who are chameleons. And I'm
I
not,
like that.
again, I'm not being like chase shiny objects, but just be realistic that things are good, but they're not always going to be great in everything. And either you tough it out and you stick with one thing and you become the dinosaur that died at that model, or
Yeah.
continue to learn new things and add things into your business and be prepared for the one thing that, you know, is really bringing you a ton of money changing.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So
Yeah.
Peso is always like, we're going to make hay while the sun is shining. That's what he's been saying a lot lately. And I agree. But also, I also know that Pace is never just working on one thing.
Yeah.
And so if that part of his life stops producing, he's got other things that can keep us going. So I think that's the other thing too, is like, never be a chameleon, because we don't know. No one has a crystal ball, and we might, you know, I was talking to Michael about this before we press record. Like, we should go back and watch this and have a good laugh in 2022 about what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah. So let's get a couple of things. So what do you think prices are? Again, total guess, pull a number out of the air. What do you think price appreciation, if any, is in 2022?
I mean, I have like other thoughts regarding other things that I'm trying like not to get into. Like, the US is going to experience, like, astrologically, there's some stuff going on that's already begun that's going to hit a peak in February 2022. So I kind of feel like our financial systems are going to be rocked. And what does that mean? Of course, that's going to affect housing. So I just feel like we're on the precipice of something revolutionary change. And maybe it's just, you know, having some sort of like regulated cryptocurrency. And that's what, you know, is in the stars for us, and it has nothing to do with housing. So, I don't know. I feel like we're going to see prices go down.
Really?
I don't know. I just kind of feel like that could be what happens next year.
That's all right. That's why you're one of my experts. Your opinion matters. So like down 5%, 1%, 10%, like significant, or what are we thinking?
I would hope that it would plateau, like you were saying, but to be honest, I'd probably see it go down 10%.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's certainly ways you can get there. I think a 10% price correction means interest rates shoot up. I think that's kind of like in order to get a 10% correction, the 30-year mortgage rate, in my opinion, has to hit 5% suddenly, like black swan event out of nowhere, something happens. I mean, anything's possible with what's going on right now. So that is interesting. This has been a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to go back in a year and see what happened. Laura, how can people become a part of your world?
Well, let's see. What do you think? You've got a good prediction.
Oh yeah, I don't mind. I think housing appreciation, nationally speaking, is up 4% next year, 4 or 5%.
Right, more positive.
Yeah, it's more of a plateau. I think it's all about demand. I think there's a lot. I think we're 7 million short of homes. I think there's general movement. I think there's a lot of revenge buying going on. I think the millennials age into the age of 31, which is the average age of first-time home buyers. I think there's generational stuff going on. I think money will remain cheap. I don't think we get above 5% next year. I think it's 4%. I just think we moderate. I think everybody wants the balloon to pop because it popped last time, right? But again, if you blow up a balloon, it doesn't have to pop. You can like let off wherever piece you blow in. Let off some steam, right? It doesn't have to pop. So I don't think everybody wants it to be like last time. I don't see it coming. I think in moderation. And I think it moderates, like it went 15% last year. It'll be 8% this year. It'll be 4% next year. It'll be 2% the year after. I think we've had the decade of appreciation early. So I think this plateau may go on for 5 or 6 years.
Interesting.
That
would be nice. I mean, that's like stability. Yeah. I mean, there's not like a super massive increase is a great way to make a ton of money.
But you got to get out.
Stability too is a beautiful thing, you know, like, I don't know, that's a good thing, you know, like it's more understandable and normal, and like you can count on it, and you can actually buy something rather, you know, like, there's a lot of good things about a plateau. I mean,
and again, we really haven't seen a national plateau, right? I mean, I think it really is. I mean, I think housing goes up generally in a decade. I think what we've done is we front loaded all the appreciation. I think we're going to have basically 8 years. I think there's a chance in the next couple of years where appreciation is right in line with inflation. So you really don't, right? Usually housing goes up 1% above inflation. I think for the next decade, it could be right in line with inflation. So I don't see a crash because I don't see the dominoes. I don't see a domino set up like last time, right? Adjustable rate mortgages, resets. I don't see the debt structure compounding it. That's really the big difference.
Yeah, I like that worldview. That's nice. Like, very happy. I like that. I hope you're right. Should we bet any money on it?
Sure. I always bet $1. We can bet $1.
Okay, let's bet $1. Okay.
Awesome.
I think cool. I owe you $1 probably.
That's okay. That's cool, Laura. Well, how can people follow you? You've got an amazing Instagram page.
Laura Morby, no spaces, and my phone number is 480-717-2070.
Awesome, Laura. Thank you for your time this Sunday. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.